Susan Finch here with, I'm so excited, Kimberly Legg, who runs our Temecula chapter down in California, texted me and said, you are not going to believe what I got. And it has to do with what, $30,000 worth of fabric that was donated to you. And what do you do with all that? Kimberly, welcome.
Hi. Thank you
Hi.
for having me today.
Oh, sure. Tell me all about, you have to tell me the golf story.
Okay, so I was contacted by a woman. I received a phone call and she said, "Hi, I found your name on the internet." And I was like, "Uh-oh." And she said, "I have a story for you." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "I found you through Binky Patrol. And I have a friend of the family who passed away. And she has about $30,000 worth of material that has been left behind." She goes, "We don't know what to do with it. And so we found you. And we really wanted it to go to an organization that was going to serve families and children in our community." And so I was taken aback. I didn't know how to respond. I was overwhelmed because that's a lot of fabric. I could just envision it in my mind. If you're thinking $9 a yard of fabric, let's say, that's a lot of fabric.
It's a lot of fabric.
And so I connected with her and she told me a little bit of the backstory that the woman, a beautiful woman who had passed away, she was in her 80s. Her husband was an avid golfer and she didn't have that passion. And so she said, "Whatever you spend on golf, I'm going to spend on fabric."
Oh
And so he must have golfed a lot, I'm guessing. So, because I'm thinking the average fee, like at our golf cart, at our golf course, is about $95.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, okay. So anyway, she passed away, and they had gone down to her home, and there was a whole bedroom filled with tubs of fabric. There's half of a garage filled with fabric.
Oh
And we're talking fabric and fleece. She was a fan of Raggedy Ann and Andy. So most of the fabric that we're seeing is Raggedy Ann and Andy. She has over 300 just Raggedy Andy dolls in her home. And so we're processing through this. So the first realm that came into our home, it filled all 3 rows of our Suburban of the fabric that we picked up. And it had tubs. We'd taken some of the tubs. This second round, they delivered up to me, and she took everything out of the tubs and put it in her car. And they took out probably 25 tubs of fabric. It took us 13 wagonfuls from her car into our house. And so right now, what we're looking at, there's 3 rows of fabric in here. And this is the second load of fabric that we've received. They're still going to bring up another row, another carful as he empties it out and kind of goes through it. But this is what we're looking at right now.
Oh my goodness.
And so that there was fleece, everything was purchased. Everything had a receipt on it. Everything was clipped together. She purchased most off of eBay or through an online source. There are bolts of fabric as well. So I've kind of reached out to different organizations also because this is a lot for my quilters.
Well, yeah.
Let alone what do we do with all of it?
Right.
So our chapter is going to work with an organization called Wishers and Dreamers. And they make gowns for teddy bears for children that are at Loma Linda Children's Hospital. And so our quilters are going to take the fabric for Christmas, because we have lots of Christmas fabric, and make quilts for the kids. They're wagon quilts. So when they're moved around the hospital, they're in wagons. So they're going to go on top of that. And then their teddy bear is going to have the same outfit as the quilt. So we're kind of branching out just a little bit just because we have so much.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. And so all of my quilters have come through both rounds so far. And then we're reaching out into the community a little bit too, just because there's so much. I have quilters that send me things from Arizona and or where there's not chapters.
Right.
And so I'm shipping fabric out to them as well, so that we can still have blankets and things made. Because our chapter, we normally deliver between 350 and 400 blankets a month.
Right.
Throughout Riverside County for foster children. So.
Oh my goodness. We have a lovely lady in Renton, Washington, and she sends me patch blankets, simple patch blankets with darling fabric and coordinating pillowcases.
Oh, that's amazing.
She said the kids don't have nice pillowcases.
They
And so
don't.
then at least they can put their ratty pillows or their makeshift pillow or their folded up clothes into something that goes with their blanket to give them a nice bed.
Right.
And those are pretty simple to make. So I'm actually trying to figure out, I was like, I wouldn't mind making a bunch of pillowcases because I have enough darling fabric and, stuff from Hoffman and things that I think making boutique pillowcases would be a lot of fun.
That's a great idea. And then normally with our Binky blankets for foster children, we'll roll in a teddy bear or a stuffed animal on the
Raggedy Ann. Now you have a bunch of Raggedy Anns.
So I think we'll be doing Raggedy Anns. If he was thinking of selling them, and if he couldn't, then they would come up this way. But just an amazing tribute to her. Even though she had all this fabric, it's going to amazing use even after she's passed away. And so she's going to be changing lives for a long time. And it's going to so many different places and resources. There's an organization called Michelle's Place, and they work with women who have breast cancer. And so we're going to be using some of the fabric to make the rice packets, the rice bags.
Yeah.
So it's really being used in multiple areas.
Oh,
so
wow, one person's revenge hobby. I mean, you think about it, it must have been decades. It must have been decades because my dad was a golfer. And I know between greens fees, but clubs, new shoes, duds,
A lot of these receipts are 2008, 2009.
That's going back
2013, 2014. I haven't seen anything recent, so I'm guessing that's what the tubs in the garage were that we haven't seen yet.
Oh my goodness. What a great story and what a wonderful unexpected legacy for this woman.
Absolutely. So it's just a joy to be part of that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see some of the stuff that you guys make, and I love hearing these stories. So happy anniversary to you. It is your 30th wedding anniversary, and I wanted to make sure I got that in there. And thank you for squeezing this in today to be able to just tell the story of how an unexpected gift and saying yes can turn into a gift for so many.
Amen. And that's, that's the part of our foundation that I love, is that Binky Patrol blesses so many, and I think I go back to, the blankets for our foster children.
Yeah.
And, even the two that I have in my care right now have a blanket for the rest of their life.
Right.
And that's because of Binky Patrol.
Yep. We just keep, and if they keep aging in that system, then we'll get them bigger ones.
That's right.
That's what happens too. I've had a few come back for 3 and 4 blankets because they've aged through the system. We have one woman she got it from a homeless shelter, and she asked me for new ones, and she's in her 60s. She's, can I please have another one? And it's like, of course you can't.
That's right.
Why would I ever turn you down?
Amen.
Well, thank you so much. And we have so many great things coming up, and with the Binkathon in October and everything else happening. But I love how you've branched out and you're like, well, we could do this with the fabric. We could do that with the fabric, and to bring in other organizations.
Yeah. It just connects us all together. So
it does. It does. Well, I'll make sure to list those other organizations too in this post so people can look for them. So what were they again? You're giving it to
Wishers and Dreamers.
Wishers and Dreamers, and Michelle's house, you said.
Michelle's Place. And so I can send you the links for that too.
Great. So. Oh, Kimberly, thank you so much for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a great day today.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.